VTuber streaming. Let's join in. But I was the drunkest I'd ever been. The big mistake I made was throwing money her way, because apparently simping's a sin. Welcome to RadiOtakus.
Did you actually pay? Did you actually buy anything like related to VTubers?
No, of course not.
Okay, okay,
I
okay. I mean,
I
yeah.
spend money on some Twitch streamers, but I have not spent money on VTubers so far.
Yet, yeah.
Yet, I don't know if I will, but yes, yet.
Dude, I was so tempted to get a membership for Ayame's stream when she started doing like members only streams, but then it was just a chatting stream and I can't understand anyways, so I just thought, okay, maybe I'll do it next time if she's doing like an Apex stream instead.
Welcome to Radio Takus, the show where I drag Sean into doing things that he doesn't want to do and talking about random shit
Yep.
that relates to Japan and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I really should come up with a better intro. This is fucking episode 7, yeah, 7, and we still don't have a concrete intro. That's okay.
Yeah. You can find us on SoundCloud and YouTube whenever the YouTube version releases.
Dude, have you even released episode 3 on YouTube yet?
I'm not even done editing episode 3. How am I gonna release it, dude?
So before we get into today's topic, let's just talk about some of the things that happened in the past few weeks. Act Age.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So apparently this is not gonna, I don't know if this is going to be a regular segment, by the way. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit before. The author of Act Age, the manga I believe it's Weekly Shonen Jump, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was arrested by Japanese police for quote unquote sex crimes against a minor, which is a big very
big no.
Yeah, big no. Like we're not gonna downplay that. It's like, don't try to fuck minors. How hard is it? But
it's so hard. I mean, go on.
Yeah, but as a result, Act Age is coming to an end very abruptly because it just doesn't feel right to have it move on to a different writer or something like that.
I mean, it also has to do with the stigma of the brand, right, or the title.
Yeah.
You know, that it has the
Please show your support for the artist who had nothing to do with said sex crimes and is a very good artist.
Yep.
Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid got a season 2 for 2021, as if there weren't enough sequels slated for 2021.
I mean, I know some people are gonna be happy about it.
God, I can't wait for this pandemic to end and then see a fucking million Toru cosplays again.
It's this one's still by KyoAni, right?
Yes.
The sequel. Nice.
I believe so.
Okay.
So I mean, it is nice to see KyoAni get back on their feet, and this is like a big sign of that because they were like already partially finished with the Violet Evergarden movie when the attack happened last year. But like I feel like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is like their first like new revival KyoAni.
Yeah, it's their first show since the what do you call it, the arson?
Yeah, arson.
Yeah. It's their first show since recovering from that. So it's good. It'll be good to see how things go. Although to be fair, like Kobayashi looks good, right? But it doesn't look like a traditional KyoAni show, right? It looks more hand drawn and there's like much less CGI particles.
Yeah, it does the manga justice in terms of art because the manga art isn't like it's mostly about stories, not like the art is okay, but it's like mostly about the interactions. The big problem I have is that they're bringing in short stack into the new season, and I hate Uzaki, and I hate the debate that it brings, and I know that as soon as Dragon Maid airs again, that fucking conversation on Twitter is gonna blow up again.
Really? Oh, did that happen like last time Kobayashi aired, or is this like a recent thing?
No, because they're introducing it in the new season because you could see the
Oh, okay.
profile of the character in the poster, and I have read some of the
Yeah.
manga, and I know who this character is. I personally don't like
Mm.
this character, but like you know how Uzaki just has like fucking massive tits on her, and she's like 4'9" or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like that, but probably shorter, and then even bigger tits, and I'm like, this is just dumb character
You're
design.
just adding fuel to the fire, man. At this point.
I'm like, I'm so excited for Twitter to blow up the oh, Uzaki is a child, therefore you're sexualizing her and she's in your pedos argument is just gonna blow up, and I'm just like not about it. Don't get me wrong, I don't like Uzaki, and I'm going to reiterate that every time it fucking pops up again. But this is just stupid.
I mean, they can say whatever they want to say, right? You just don't have to listen to it. Most people have nothing better to do than like spout nonsense on the internet. So,
Yeah, and last but not least, the Kiss series of debatably legal sites got shut down.
oh yeah, no, they're
Really today.
totally parasites, guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Make movie.
totally
Yeah,
legal.
parasites.
I definitely don't go on there. I don't know what you're talking about. No, but since they're gone now, we can actually name them, and I don't voluntarily bleep them out for fear of them being taken down because, well, they have been taken
They're
down.
already down.
But yeah, Kiss Anime, Kiss Manga, and a bunch of associated websites with those under
Like the
that
Kiss title.
umbrella has been taken down, partially because they're lazy and didn't change their. It was something about like they didn't change their servers off of like Blogspot or some shit like that, and then that combined with the new Japanese copyright laws, it's just like, hey, y'all are fucked now. So let us know what other sites you use because I'm gonna need some new ones. Yeah, Crunchyroll, Funimation, yeah, 100%. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good, good
How about ones where you
suggestions.
don't have to pay?
Support the
uh,
anime industry, guys.
yeah,
all
I
right,
mean,
all
just
right,
buy the Blu-ray, man. Just buy the Blu-ray.
all right. Yeah, I'm totally gonna buy the Katana Gatsuri Blu-ray for like $350.
Yep. Wait, USD?
Yeah,
There's no way it's that expensive, right?
no, it's
Oh
fucking
my god.
expensive, dude.
What the hell?
Let me Google
Okay,
it right now. I'm actually just curious.
I'll be honest. I've never bought a single Blu-ray before. I mean, I used to buy DVDs when DVDs were a thing, but like, yeah, I don't think I've ever bought like actual Blu-rays because I think even the DVDs I bought weren't Blu-rays.
One used from $289.99, and that's just the Volume One
Right.
Premium Edition.
That's a used one too. Damn.
I don't know. I might buy one. I might buy more Blu-rays when I have a place of my own because I'm still living at my parents' house, and once I have, once like I don't have people that live with me that will horribly judge what I spend my money on, then we're solid. Like I have two anime figures right now. Once I move out and get my own place, that number's gonna rise. And you bet your ass, it's gonna rise high.
Yeah, I'm getting a PS5 when I move out. XD.
All right, so to the topic at hand for today, Sean has an ambition.
I do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
This is the
Uh,
whole point of us fucking talking about this episode, Sean.
my ambition is being the best depictor in Japan, and I've already done it. So I think I'm done with life, guys.
I'm talking about when you texted me. I should apply for Hololive.
I mean, the application was open, man. Like, I mean, but I also didn't see the application until like the day it ended. So I didn't have any time to do anything for it. Like, I didn't have time to prepare for it. Like, you had to do like a video recording during your application and whatnot. And yeah, it was just I don't know, good or bad timing. It's up to you guys to decide. But like, I found out at the last second, and maybe I'll apply for round two or something. But
I mean, I guess technically you would become a part of Hollow Stars if that were to go through some fucking fashion, but
True, true. I'd be in like Holostar EN or something. Yeah, because I'm applying for the English branch, not the Japanese speaking branch, because I have no Japanese skill.
I still feel like you would need a at least a basic understanding of Japanese if you wanted
Really?
to be.
They said. I mean, maybe,
Because like, how else
because
are you gonna communicate with the like,
Yato.
yeah? Because I don't know how much English the actual management of Hololive does. By the way, if you don't, if you are new to this podcast and you don't know what Hololive is, I guess we should start with what virtual YouTubing is because
Hmm.
there are a lot of steps into explaining this. So you wanna take a shot at it?
I mean, okay, I don't have a formal definition, but from how I see it, virtual YouTubers are just people who stream on YouTube primarily, like people who stream on YouTube primarily that uses 2D avatars instead of say their face cam or having their webcam turned off. So people associate the channel or the streamer to a virtual figure, and that figure is usually an anime figure or a anime character that's hand drawn and animated in Live 2D engine, so that the avatar tracks the movement of the streamer essentially. So the streamer will be streaming using a anime avatar. That's the gist of it. And usually people have a character setting associated to their avatar, and they just act out their persona, um, for the most part. Yep.
Yeah, and there are some like quote unquote virtual YouTubers or like virtual streamers that aren't necessarily like anime based, but
Yeah.
I would say still fall under the umbrella because I know that there is like a couple pro Smash players have control of a robot called Neuralis or something, and they use that
Mm-hmm.
account, go online and just dumpster people, and they just pretend it's a robot. So like I would say that kind of falls under virtual streaming, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, but like usually when people talk about VTuber these days, it's about like Japanese VTubers. Um, Not so much. I don't think that has caught on in Western communities as much, or like I don't think that has caught on with Western content creators as much. I know Western viewers do watch VTuber stuff, so
yeah, I'm interested to see how this how it would play out in a Western setting, but
mm-hmm.
I mean there are English speaking
VTubers.
VTubers. I know like Silverveil is a popular one from the United States, and some of Hololive and Niji Sanji have can speak English. Hololive
Yep.
is pretty much just like an agency for VTubers that primarily focus on like building them as in the image of an idol. Except a lot of
Yep.
them
So like
don't.
singing and whatnot.
Yeah, except a
Yep.
lot of them don't follow like the traditional Japanese image of an idol. Like they do idol activities, but they don't necessarily have an
Behave
idol
idol like.
persona or
Yep.
personality.
Yep. Yep. You mentioned earlier about how it would play out in Western communities. I feel like it's not gonna be as big of a hit in say the states or whatnot because I feel like there people are more open about revealing themselves,
Yeah,
whereas in Japan a lot of times content creators hide behind masks. For example, if you watch like anime covers, or they often don't like to associate their virtual character with their own personal information. It's just a cultural thing, right? Because a lot of times they're afraid of being labeled as otakus and being ostracized in society. But I feel like that's not as big of a problem in Western cultures. So I feel like if people are gonna stream, they're probably gonna be streaming like normally, like most people would on Twitch, right, with a face cam and whatnot.
yeah,
So yeah, we'll see.
yeah. And I think in Western, or sorry, in like Japanese, and I don't know if this applies to all like East Asian countries. Maybe like
Yeah.
Korea, because I think Korea has very similar culture to Japan, as far as I can tell, because I'm not very well versed on Japanese culture, but I'm like even less well versed on other East
Korean
Asian
culture. Yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
But like in Japanese culture, it's really easy to like be private because like the I think the singers, the duo of Yoroshika are very very secretive. They've only played like 2 live gigs, and no one really knows like their face. So a lot of like artists and a lot of Vocaloids also like don't have um, don't have a public face. They just have like
Hmm.
maybe an image that represents them, but not one that like moves around. It's just a voice because they want their voice to be the focus um, of how people
Of the
associate them
brand is.
and their name. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
because like in Western culture, you have people like Ed Sheeran, who people like always joke about being, kind of ugly and not like traditional hot like the Hollywood celebrity type bullshit. But like Ed Sheeran's just like a guy who makes music and happens to be like good at making music. But, like Western culture is like very very open, and I think it's probably easier to like dox people in Western culture as well.
Yep. Yep. FBI open up.
So like,
Doxing is actually so cancer. Like a lot of people on Western communities are afraid of, or yeah, I suppose a lot of people on Western VTuber communities are afraid of people doxing the Japanese VTubers, and I feel like if they're that cautious of leaking VTuber information, I feel like Japan is gonna be on a whole different level, right? So you would often see on like comments of English translated clips of VTubers where the poster of the clip will be like, "Do not reveal any information about a VTuber um, unless it's open information," right?
yeah, because like I think the for example, one of the VTubers in Hololive is Kuryu Koko or Coco Kuryu. I don't. How are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do for like actual first name last name or last name first name? Fuck it, I don't
I
care. It
would like,
doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
But I think it's pretty well known who her like public self or quote unquote inner self is. I think that's the term that they use for like the person that's behind
Oh
the
no,
VTuber.
they referred to it as previous lives, but
Previous
yeah,
lives, okay.
yeah.
But I think it's pretty well known who that VTuber's
Who she
previous
is?
life
Yep.
is, and I have like seen that said person's YouTube channel, but everybody just kind of agrees to like not talk about it. Like
Hmm.
people don't go to uh, her stream and talk about Kuryu Koko, and they don't go to Kuryu Koko's or Coco's stream and talk about, oh, I went to this person's stream yesterday. It's just much more respected.
Hmm. I mean, it probably has to do with Japanese culture too, right? Um,
For sure.
yeah. I mean, Japanese people pay a lot more attention to manners and social status, I suppose. Like, see, if you're a senior, it matters a lot to both parties when they're communicating. Um, which is why a lot of people pay very high attention to honorifics in Japan, which is not a thing, right? It's not a thing in English culture. Like we just refer to them as by their names. We don't care about like their honorifics. Maybe we add like a sir at the end of the sentence or a ma'am, but like that's about it.
Yeah, and I remember like going through a textbook that my friend used for her Japanese class, and one of the first things they talk about is like how to ask somebody's age because like that's one of the things that really define you. If you're like a 20-year-old shitter talking to a 22-year-old shitter, then you still have to give them a lot more respect.
Yep. Yep.
Like I think it's
Where's my
kind of
respect?
I think it's kind of weird, but I mean I think Western culture. I'm not saying this to like boost up Japanese culture, but I think Western culture is kind of cancer.
I mean, well,
Sorry. I
in
think
some ways,
Western
yeah.
culture surrounding like celebrities and media and like high end streamers is like
Mm-hmm.
really shit.
I mean, Twitch chat, right? That's a prime example.
Oh yeah, Twitch chat is god awful.
Yep.
Like just think of the things that like happen to Alinity or Greek God or like it's as much as I don't like a lot of streamers, I'm not going to go into their channel and then just spam bullshit that will actually make them really upset, you know?
But her cats, though. What about her cats, guys?
But um
Cats' lives matter, okay?
I think it's interesting hiding behind, well, not like hiding behind, but like having a separate persona, because while a lot of um a lot of western streamers have like they have a different persona that they put on for streaming. Like Dr.
Yeah,
Disrespect is
yeah,
like one of the biggest examples of that, I believe.
yeah.
And
Pretty normal.
yeah, and I think virtual YouTubers have a very exaggerated person, a very
Personality.
exaggerated version of that.
Yep,
Because
definitely. I mean,
yeah, go
I,
ahead.
I mean, in the case of Doctor Disrespect, right? He may have a online persona, but you are still seeing him. You still know what he looks like. You still know a lot about him. Um, you can also tell from like the setup of his room and whatnot, right? You can gain a lot of information from him through his webcams. But in the case of virtual YouTubers, the online persona is all you get. Like you don't see anything in their rooms. You don't see their face. You don't know anything about them. All you know is their online personality, their voice, and how their avatars look. So um, actually, viewers of VTubers are very far removed from the person who is behind the avatar. So that's something that's pretty different from. I guess it's something that's very different from what people would normally be used to when they tune into a live stream and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think it's a very nice sense of privacy as well. So I think that
Sure.
also
Yeah.
like really helps. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
what I'm
For
more
sure.
referring to is like the fact that um, within Hololive, because Hololive is like the agency that I'm most familiar with. I watch like one.
Yep.
I think I watch one virtual YouTuber outside of Hololive like on a consistent basis. But within
Hmm.
Hololive, it's like five or six. Which
Hmm.
now that I'm talking about it seems like a lot. But please, I've not
Please,
burned any money yet.
please, no, no, know your place, guys. Know your place. I watch 50 VTubers on a consistent basis. All right.
Yeah. But you're also not watching
What am I
like
doing with my
15.
life?
You're also not watching like 15 seasonal shows. So
True, 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 true. I mean, that's why I'm behind on my seasonal stuff, right?
yeah, but like for Hololive, their streamers tend to have a specific shtick to them. Uh, some some might call it a gimmick, some might call it a motif, whatever. But like for example,
Hmm.
Hosho Marine is like supposed to be a pirate or a girl that's cosplaying as a
Yep.
pirate, you know. And
Yep.
obviously the person behind that, or yeah, obviously the person that is behind Marine
The Avatar
is not actually a pirate because the only pirates that really exist are like
in prison.
in prison.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just
or
kidding.
very different. It's like a medieval pirate, not like a oh I'm gonna hijack your oil reserves pirate. You know?
Or it's not the Kiss anime type of parrot. Right?
You never know, man. But it's a very like different persona compared to
Yeah.
someone who like who's just kind of a dick to everybody online and that's their public persona. But it's still like
Yeah.
a very modern and I'd say arguably easier portrayal of a person, even if that's not your primary way of thinking.
Hmm. It's yeah, they refer to it as character settings. So like I know Austin is more familiar with Hololive, but most VTubers have their own character settings. So like Niji Sanji is a different VTuber agency, and Niji Sanji is less focused on the idol side of virtual YouTubing or streaming, but they're rather more focused on I guess you could say multi-talent expansions, or they just let the they just let their VTubers do whatever they want, right? So some would be gaming focused, some would be idol activities focused, and they just let them do whatever, and then they just sponsor them with equipment and staff support. So it's a very different approach to virtual YouTubing, and they, or rather, the people working under Niji Sanji all have their own character settings, right? And then you also have people who are independent, um, like Inuyama Tamaki. Like she's, I mean, this is pretty open information because she streams with her IRL persona and her avatar all the time. But she's basically a mangaka. Independent VTubers also have their own persona or a character setting, which is pretty much the hook to grab people's attention when they debut. It's like something for people to latch onto and hopefully continue sticking with the channel once they develop, I suppose.
Yeah, and I feel like having a different persona, like of that of like that extreme. I'm not sure. Like, obviously, we're not like 100% sure how people's like normal personas or personalities are.
Yeah,
I
of
don't know
course.
how I don't know how much of a particular VTuber's personality comes out on the screen, you know.
Yeah,
But I feel
like we
like
don't know anything that goes on off camera, so
yeah, I feel like it might be really tiring because I think streaming as like by itself is tiring as is. Like I think it's very difficult to like continuously talk even if it's like not necessarily to anybody, but just like continuously talk while doing games or whatever, you know.
or yeah, or other stuff for sure.
And then
Yeah,
like doing that on top of playing like having a second personality that might not be something that I'm used to, that just seems like absolutely exhausting, and it makes you wonder like I believe Inugami Korone, who we've talked about on this podcast before,
hmm,
supposedly like works at a bakery or something, and that's just a lot, man. Just like going to work and then coming home and then streaming a as a dog girl. It's just like
so
Jesus Christ.
as a finger hunting dog. Yep.
Yeah, like how do people have that much energy? Like, you know, maybe it's just me who doesn't have a lot of energy, but it just seems exhausting. And I know a lot of people like just get exhausted after streams, and I have so much respect for people like who go out and complete like, you know, 12 24 hour streams and then just fucking drop at the end because it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a special kind of. I mean, if streaming's that's easy, right? Everyone would be the streamer, right? Everyone will be a streamer with like 500K subs or whatever on YouTube or Twitch, right? But it's not that easy, right? It takes a special kind of personality and a special kind of charisma to make it in this industry, and a lot of them have that capability, which I suppose is a good thing because that means the agency is doing the right thing with scouting, which is something you cannot say for LCS teams, but it's okay.
I think it's very different. Like if one of us were to join, because we're not used to having like a lot of people on our stream. Like I remember back when I streamed consistently because I had consistent internet back in my old place in Ann Arbor. I would get like one or two of my friends showing up, and I would be able to like talk to them, and you know,
Yep.
just like we just hang out where they're just texting me stuff while I play a game, and I just talk. And instead of me texting back at them, I just, you know, verbally say it. But it's very different compared to people who have, say, even between having one or two viewers and 20 viewers, and then 20 viewers and then 100 viewers, and then 100 viewers to like thousands and thousands of viewers that virtual
Yep.
YouTubers get. So I think it's a very different it's very different between the, you know, tiers of how many people are watching your stream, because like when you're in a stream with like 5,000 people, regardless of if it's like, you know, Shroud that you're watching or um Dyrus or fucking whoever.
Tires. People still watch tires these days. Okay,
Yeah, like
respect.
your single message is going to get lost into a stream of other messages.
Yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
if you're the streamer, you can't respond to everybody, so you have to kind of just like pick and choose. But I feel like even that can be exhausting in itself.
I
And
mean, the good thing about
yeah,
that is that once that happens, you don't have to come up with a conversation topic anymore. You can just refer to chat, and then they can, help you, um, I guess, continue the conversation without any breaks. So that's the good thing, right? But the bad thing is, yeah, you're always getting constant feedback, and you cannot respond to them all. So
Yeah, and I think that it's like it's tiring when we're talking to like one or two people and when we have to keep coming up with bullshit to like just keep talking. But I feel like an application process coming from very low view count might be like deceiving in that regard.
yep.
Because like whenever I watch your stream, because I don't watch your stream that often because like usually I'm at work when you do stream, and
Mm-hmm.
uh
Yeah, because time's of difference. Yeah.
yeah, but like you and I both don't talk a lot in stream, partially because we don't have
Yeah.
people to talk to, but as a streamer, that's not necessarily a good thing. Just not
Mm-hmm.
talking a lot in general, even if there's nobody around, because you're supposed to be able to because that's the point of streaming, right? You're supposed to be entertaining if you're doing it as a career. If you're doing it as a hobby like the two of us do, then who gives a shit?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the counter argument to that, right, would be if you're so good at what you're streaming, then it doesn't matter what your personality is because like Faker, right? Faker doesn't say he doesn't say anything in his streams. He's just like a machine. He's just playing League of Legends, but he's so good that his streams just catch like 5-digit viewerships like every time he starts up. So I guess that's the counter argument. But again, I feel like that is harder to do because being good at some actual skill is probably gonna be harder than pretending to be cheerful or being good at having a conversation or whatnot, right?
Yeah,
So
and it's much easier to build a following if you have like the support of T1 or I guess SKT1 back when he first started, compared to people like if you were to try to like
independent,
actually
right?
make an effort into like growing viewership and growing followers, where you're starting from like no sponsorship and no recognition whatsoever.
So you're saying Hollow Life members have it easy, right? So fifth gen members have 100K subs before they even stream. Okay, okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I mean, I kind of am, but like
Yeah,
having somebody promote you definitely helps a lot.
yeah, no, I mean that's the whole point, right, of joining an agency, right? It's to have the infrastructure support. So in that sense, Hololive is doing a good job of
Yeah,
helping their newcomers, right? Of course, there are things that they are not doing well, but I mean, it's over already, right? Like the whole copyright business. But um,
yeah,
I guess everyone is still learning at this point, right?
yeah,
This is still not a very established scene, I suppose. So there's bound to be mistakes, and they just have to fix them along the way. So not all agencies are perfect, but if you can join one, of course, it's a good jumpstart to your virtual career.
yeah. Because like, well, Kazuna Eye's been around. How Life's been only been around for like 2 or 3 years, right?
I'm actually not sure, but they haven't um, entered the Western radar until recently because of Corona, right? Because with Corona, people have more time to watch stuff online, and because of that, they got a lot of traffic because people just now have the resources, right, to devote to watching streams and whatnot. So I only just recently learned about them because of Corona, but I would think that they're not that. They haven't been around for that long. I don't think because I think the earliest members of their crew are either Tokino Sora or Susei. So like the first gen or the 0th gen, right? And I think they've been around since like 2017 or something. So 3 years. Um, 3 years, 4 years at most, right?
Yeah, it says that Tokina Sora's Twitter account started on in June 2017, and
Yeah. Okay. Sounds about
received
right.
her received her 3D model on October 17th of that year. So, yeah, it's only been around for like 3 or so years. So I guess kind of like the early days of YouTube, except it's much more a little bit faster established.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Hoshimachi Suisei, who you just mentioned, is first of all, personally, I think she's my favorite Hololive
Really?
member. Yeah, I don't
Wait,
know
I've
how
never
like
seen you talk about her.
how weird that is, but she's very special in a different way in that she started out indie and
Yes.
then transitioned into Hololive.
Yep.
So
She's very talented
yeah,
in many different ways.
and I remember seeing a video where it compiled like clips of her talking about like her growth and how she like how she got really demoralized after like some things, and obviously all translated because can't fucking understand Japanese vocal or even
For
writing.
now, I mean, you're learning Japanese right now, right?
I
So
am
who
I am
knows?
I kind of want to, yeah. This has nothing to do with understanding virtual YouTubers, by the way. I'm just learning it because I mean, I was learning it a little bit before my trip to Japan last year. We could probably do an episode on that, but I think I want 3 people on like talking about going to Japan. So I'll find somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I learned it a little bit, but
Because
like
I
just
get your brother.
yeah, yeah. Actually, Sean, my brother and I don't want my brother on the fucking podcast. He won't agree anyway. Yeah, Sean, my brother and I actually met up in Tokyo, and we hung out for
Tokyo.
like 3 or 4 hours.
A day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, what was I gonna say?
Suisei.
Suisei. I'm still trying to remember how we got from Suisei to talking about.
Because
Oh
you
yeah,
said
yeah, I got it.
you,
Yeah,
yeah, the translated clips and whatnot, right? And
yeah,
I said something about Japanese. Yeah.
yeah. But and I think she showed a much more slow growth because of the fact that she started indie. So she much more followed the how a lot of streamers start off. A lot of like the popular streamers started off with like very few and then gradually built their way up.
Yep.
Obviously people like Ninja who got famous from playing I think Halo, and that helped his player base. But I'm talking more about the people who like just solely stream and don't really compete.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what kind of personality do you think you would, or I guess character settings, would you like want your character to have? Because I remember we said that you, when I asked you what kind of like image you would have one similar to Anje is it Katrina?
I mean,
Katrina?
they
Katarina?
pronounce it as Katarina, like Katarina from League, but then the pronunciation, or not the pronunciation, the spelling is Katrina. So, I mean, you can pronounce it however you want.
I just want to point out that like these the fucking Japanese people are they really like making names that don't translate well into the Japanese language, so they just pronounce it differently than how it's spelled. It's like Katarina versus Katrina because they don't have the tr
And then,
sound in the Japanese
yeah,
language, so they just say Tarina. Just
yeah.
like why?
I mean, a lot of them, are based on puns, but a lot of them just use like English words because it sounds cool. So,
Like no shade at the Japanese throne because of that. I'm just saying like why? but but Anje has a like a very like boyish like tone of voice and like short hair
yeah,
and has a very interesting design. It's very hard to like visually describe it. And I also come to
it's
the
okay. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a supporting visual. So please,
yeah
come to my YouTube channel.
if it ever gets to YouTube.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I mean, by the time this episode drops, I'll probably still not be done with episode 3 on YouTube. So we'll see.
I also think that I also realized that I'm really bad at describing personalities because like I was watching like some VTubers from Hololive just to see if I could like talk about them on the podcast. I'm like, how the fuck do I describe this person's personality?
Yeah, that's why you gotta use meme speak. Okay, you describe them with the memes, right?
Oh, you're
That's
right.
what matters in the end, anyways. Because the character settings are all just a lie, right?
Yeah, so like if you were to go onto Hollow Stars, I don't know if Hollow Stars has a a character motif to them. Because
I think
honestly,
they do.
I don't care about watching anime guys.
Male VTubers. God damn. God damn. Billy is just the same. Like another friend of mine is just like you. He only watches female VTubers, and just like you're missing out, dude. There's so many funny. Like, here's the thing, right? A lot of male VTubers don't have the benefit of having, maybe for lack of a better term, simps coming after their channel because of their character design. So a lot of them actually has very good reasons for you to watch them if they're well established. Like, for example, they could be really funny, they could be really good at video games, or some of them could be really good at singing too. Like, a lot of male VTubers are actually really talented. Like, um, but yeah, people just don't watch them because they're not girls. So what can I say?
Guilty as charged, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
It's actually kind of funny because a lot. I think I watch more with regards to like traditional Western streamers on Twitch. I think I watch more male streamers on Twitch than female streamers.
Because they're good at the games or whatnot, right?
No, absolutely not.
Because they're funny.
I mean, a lot of the ones that I do watch are my friends.
Oh,
to be fair.
Well, that doesn't really count then.
But like, I also have more. I generally have more female friends than I do male friends, so.
Well, good for you, man.
Still single, by the way.
Yikes.
But fuck, what were we on where we went off the tangent about male VTubers?
Anjay?
Yeah, something like that. But what would your inner character settings be like? What do you think?
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I feel like character settings for me doesn't really matter because I feel like I cannot put up the act for more than 2 streams. So.
I think acting's fucking hard, man.
Preferably, if it's a persona that doesn't talk that much, I'll be fine. But then, if that's the case, I feel like I'm just not gonna get hired. So.
Have your character setting be mute.
Yeah.
We love you, deaf community, but I'm sorry, it was just too funny of an opportunity.
Well, I mean, if they're deaf, they cannot listen to our podcast anyways, so.
Yeah, you're right about that. No subtitles here, boy.
Oh, no. If you want subtitles, like, this episode is never gonna come out, man.
I could probably do subtitles on a video faster than you could complete an actual video.
Shut up.
But like,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you could be like Pekara, who's quite a what's her name? Usada Pekara, I think that's her.
Yep. Peko.
Who's to put it plainly, a brat. Kind of a brat.
Well, I'm a brat, dude, bruh.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's a personality you could do. I don't think you could pull it off, but it's brat.
I mean, I feel like if I was ever to become like a VTuber, I'd probably be more like Yashiro Kizuku from Niji Sanji. He's like a male VTuber. His character setting is he's a IT office worker. He very good at coding. Graduated with a computer science degree. That's his character setting. I feel like something like that would work for me.
We're talking about character setting, not actually you here.
No, that's actually his character setting, but that's also actually him. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually like a IT office worker. I mean, he probably is, right? He probably is because he knows a lot about that kind of stuff too. And he's also very mature for a VTuber, so he's definitely got the age, right, of an office worker.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's yeah.
I don't know. I just don't really know how well that personality translates into streaming, but I also haven't watched any clips of him whatsoever.
Yeah, for him, the personality doesn't really matter, or the character setting. The character setting doesn't really matter. I keep confusing personality and character setting as two different things, right? Character setting is something that is made up. Personality is something that the streamer actually has. The character setting doesn't really matter. They only use the character setting as a joke whenever they're doing collabs and whatnot. Um, his personality is just somebody who's very mature, somebody who's also very humorous. Whenever he can, and he's also very responsible. He's like the straight man in many collabs. He keeps people like Matsuri and Sasaki Saku in check. So yeah, he's he's also a he also plays as a father in a made up family in Nijisanji, right? The Nijisanji family. I forgot what's their name. It's like Dozoku family or something. I think I'm missing one syllable there, but it's basically a family of Dora, Kizuku, um, Honma Himawari, and who's the last guy? Kazuya. Those four make up the family, and he plays as the dad, right? That's another character setting that he has. But that's mostly more for a collab thing. But whenever he's in a collab, he always plays as a mature character. So um, yeah, he's just a fun VTuber to watch. I feel like if I were to be like a VTuber, I probably wouldn't be the one that's cracking all the jokes. So I'd probably be more like him. I'd probably just be on the side and be like reining people in when they go out of control.
No, you'd be the one egging them on. Let's be real.
Ah, maybe.
Yeah, I also don't know how well. It seems kind of weird. I don't know how much like interaction there is, like between um people's applications and then their debut. How much interaction there is between them and then the other members of the agency that they go through, and b the other
uh,
members of the debut generation. So I think it would be kind of weird if they just like collab and talk right off the bat, which they don't usually do. They don't interact or collab,
no,
but
they don't.
it's something that would be an eventuality if you are on
For sure.
the if you VTube for
If you're
the
in an
agency,
agency,
yeah. So
yes.
it just kind of feels weird just being like told to like, hey, here's somebody that works for you. Have fun streaming with them. Like
I, I mean, I
that
mean,
kind of concept just seems like weird to me. But like if they have time to like actually talk and just like game together or
get to know
whatever,
each other.
I think it'd be a lot better. But I also like I don't know the inner workings of these agencies.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know to 100% detail like what it's like, but fourth gen and fifth gen definitely know each other or like know of each other in the same generation before they debuted. They've met up like physically as well, and I feel like what it would be like is probably they would get a tour around the whatever the office or whatever, get to know the staff, get to know the CEO, and get to know some of the members if they're there, and then they'll just introduce themselves as a newcomer, like like any other workplace essentially, right? And then after they set up everything, they would then make the announcement that we have a new generation or a new VTuber coming up, and that her debut is at X date, for example, right? So fifth gen actually,
It's
like
currently debuting for Hololive.
yes, they are currently debuting, and from Hololive, yes. Niji Sanji also has a new batch coming out, but I'm not following that as closely because I've been too busy playing video games on my PC because I finally got back home. Uh, anyways, that's besides the point. But fifth gen have been meeting up in like short streams to talk about each other's debut as things went on. So they definitely know each other. So
Yeah, imagine you just don't get along with like one person, but you're like perfect for the agency
for
otherwise.
collabs,
Like, you think they would just like
yeah.
drop you in a hat or like drop you, or do you think they would just like not have you collab with that person? I'm not saying like pure hatred, but you just like don't mesh well in a
Mm-hmm.
collaboration sense.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about Hololive, but I know in Nijisanji there has been a case where two people have been very um I guess maybe they were pretty close with each other, but their collabs have been very successful for a while. And then eventually there was a falling out, and then they stopped collabing together. Like since then, so it has happened, right? There has been falling outs, and with Niji Sanji, it's easier to have a falling out and still be fine because there are just like 100 plus VTubers, 100 plus other VTubers to collab with, right? So you're never gonna run out of people to collab with. But for Hololive, it's a smaller ecosystem because I feel like it's more selective and because the purpose is different, right? Niji Sanji is trying to expand in the broad sense, but then Hololive is trying to expand in like a more
Focused.
traditional idol sense, right?
Yeah, they're
So
very
of course they're more
focused in with what they do.
yeah.
So it's easier to control the interaction between
Yeah.
the not like control in the 1984 sense, but like just like rein it in if it ever gets too bad. Settle creative differences, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like because it's a smaller circle, people are probably more tightly knitted. It's just like how if you have a smaller classroom, right? You get to know each other, you get to know the teacher better. Versus having a big lecture hall of like 200 plus people, then you just become a statistic, right? So I feel like that's the difference between Niji Sanji and Hololive. One of them is like a statistic of like a big lecture hall, and the other one is more like a more personal feel between the VTubers, or in the analogy between the students, and also with the teachers, right?
It's your
So
200 person lecture versus your 15-person discussion group.
pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I have talked with people that just like have popped into random discords that I was in and like, hey, I don't know you, but I'll just talk to you or whatever. But being forced to make content would be kind of weird to me. But so that's I mean
I
like
mean, a lot of people get yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
like that's not the only reason why I don't think I could ever VTube. But I mean the concept just seems funny.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's comfort zone is different, right? So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, would you apply for Nijisanji?
you don't, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I feel like I'm more suited for Niji Sanji than Hololive.
I mean,
Uh,
I don't think that's a to be perfectly honest. I think that's just kind of just a fact.
yeah, yeah, because I mean, I cannot sing, I cannot dance, so I don't know what I'm doing in an idol agency. So just let me play video games, guys. I can do that. I can play video games and hold a conversation. That's okay. I can do that. But singing and dancing, that's gonna be a little rough, man.
And
Although to be fair, Coco also is very good at singing and dancing, and she's made it pretty far, right? So, oh, she's also worked really hard for it, of course, right? She worked really hard to improve her singing and dancing, but she did start out being good in those two areas. So
I think
who knows, man?
I think
Maybe it's hope.
technically the inner self or past life of Coco was also a virtual YouTuber under a different name,
Yes,
I
yes.
believe.
Yeah, I mean, she was an indie. Yeah. She would be considered an independent VTuber, just like Suisei, I
Yeah,
suppose.
she
Yeah.
just got reincarnated into a dragon girl.
Into Hollow Live
Yeah,
as Drake.
I'm
As
surprised
Elder.
that she didn't go with her old VTuber, but I guess she just didn't want the association because it might have had like because she did
Yes.
streams with her like actual with face cam,
Real face. Yes, yes,
so
yes.
probably just didn't want that association.
Yeah. I mean, there are probably reasons. Maybe personal or maybe legal, right? So you never know.
But Niji Sanji also has like a much more established English version, not version, section, I guess.
Branch or yeah,
Branch,
yeah.
yeah. Because I believe they started for Indonesia.
Same. I mean,
No,
Hololive
India.
also
Sorry,
has an
India.
Indonesia brand. India. Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't know
it
about
started
that.
it started India, and then it just turned into the English. They've got like three people. They also have like an Indonesian branch. I actually
Mm-hmm.
the one streamer I watch outside of Hololive is actually in Nijisanji English. Her name's Noor. She's a sweetie, but she hasn't streamed much because I believe she had like some sort of arm injury, which is
Oh, okay.
kind of rough. Like she said she
Yeah.
was talking about how it hurt to play games, so she avoided like gaming content for a while. And I'm just thinking, damn, that fucking sucks. Holy shit.
That's pretty tough. I mean, that's career killing for like pro gamers. But I guess she's a streamer, so she can do other things. But yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah, I think one of her recent streams, she just did an AMA in a auto tune voice, and then another one she played. I think she played Persona 4 Golden because there's just less stress on her arms compared to other games.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get me the contacts with, you can get me in contact with her with if you join Nijisanji EN, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. If I get back to the States first, yeah.
No, because like if it's formerly Nijisanji India, she'd probably be based out of the Eastern Hemisphere, I would think.
Maybe.
Because she was talking about I believe she talks when she like talks about like scheduling streams, she talks about Japanese Standard Time. So I assume that it's probably she's probably based out of Japan or somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Maybe, yeah. Because she called up with Kanae, who's like definitely Japanese and Japanese branch. So their time zone has to be really close unless she's playing at like an ungodly hour. So yeah.
Because like if we were to collab, that'd be fucking difficult. If we were like
I mean, that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, like us collabing is a only on weekends thing every 2 weeks. Partially because like we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves on editing. But if you didn't see my recent tweet, I said that the real reason that we record every 2 weeks isn't because it's hard to find schedules, because I spend 1 week procrastinating on editing before I actually start editing.
Yep, and I take about 2 months to warm up before I actually get down and edit. So yeah, I feel like 2 weeks is a little too short actually.
But I mean, if you're on the same like time zone, it's like, or close, because you're only an hour off of Japan Standard Time, I believe.
For sure. Yep.
So it wouldn't be as difficult if you were to join Niji-sanji.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I wonder how deep their organization is in terms of like management, because like yeah, it's not as like structurally focused as Hololive, but
Hololive.
I mean, it's still an organization, you know.
Yeah,
like I don't know if you're gonna have to talk to them, if you're gonna have to like talk to them in Japanese, which you don't know.
Hell no. I mean, all I know is ohayo, konnichiwa, and sayonara. Yeah, that's pretty good. Basic greetings and farewells, right?
Dude, fucking learning Japanese is actually the hardest thing I've ever done. Or ever tried to do, I think. Because like I'm monolingual because I hated the idea of learning Vietnamese like my parents wanted me to. I'm sure I could have easily done that when I was a kid, because like when you're a kid you absorb new languages like super easily. And I feel like if my parents just like talked to me in Vietnamese, I would have picked it up a lot more, but they kind of just only spoke English to me. And I mean, my dad's like, "Oh, you should have learned Vietnamese. I should have made you take Vietnamese school or something like that." And I'm like, when I was 7, I just wanted to dick around and play Pokemon or something like that.
I mean, to be honest, like I feel like if he didn't try to teach you, if he just simply spoke with you, you would have been perfectly fine. Because I mean, I guess I did have some basic education in Chinese, but like for the most part, I've just spoken Chinese with my parents, and that's it. And I feel like my Chinese is very passable in terms of communication, and that's really what matters, right? I mean, if you want to read, then maybe you have to spend some extra effort. But like, I could read because I had like basic elementary education, right? But yeah, it's just like a missed opportunity, right? Dude, imagine if you learn Japanese and you learn Vietnamese like when you were a kid, or not learn, if you just spoke Vietnamese with your parents, right?
I would actually have a job that I enjoyed, probably.
You would have a job you enjoyed. I don't know about that. All I was gonna say is you could probably brag about knowing 3 languages online, but I mean, if you're gonna go that far, sure, I guess.
I think I would rather have the job than bragging rights online, personally.
Oh, okay. I mean, bragging rights are important, man.
I mean, did you?
Best picture in Japan, by the way.
Did you go to? Did you learn your English like in your main schooling system?
Let me see. Let me think. So I took like English lessons in Taiwan when I was like really young. So like from kindergarten until third grade, right? I would take after school lessons in English and whatnot. So I thought I was pretty good at English, right? But turns out Taiwanese education is a scam, and everyone's just boosted, and they make you think you're good, but you're actually really garbage. So I went to Hong Kong, studied at an international school, and I realized I didn't know a single word of English. I cannot understand the conversation. I cannot follow up. I cannot say anything in time. My thinking is just like 500 ping or something, and it was just it was horrible. But then um, there at the international school, I just basically like read a lot of books, learned a lot of vocab, and then eventually I got really good at reading and writing, and then now I'm fine, right? But but I feel like for a for education and languages, fourth grade is kind of late, right? Because I have an accent, right? And it's not something that I'm very proud of. I don't like my accent, so I try to talk really slow or in fragments, so it doesn't show. But yeah, I feel like fourth grade was really late for learning languages already. So I cannot imagine what like learning Japanese in 20s plus would be like. Right?
Yeah.
That sounds like cancer.
I don't think your accent is like that bad, but I've also like grown up in a community where people talk with very very heavy accents because
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I mean,
all like I'd say that the Asian English accent is like very similar regardless of which nationality. So like
yeah, for the most part,
yeah,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
think
Oh,
your accent is like very similar to the people of like the Vietnamese community that okay, I'll say
mhm.
I'm in. I don't really care to be in it, but like I was in it, and
Mm-hmm.
yours is definitely better than a lot of people's that I've talked to, and like even my
Yeah,
the boss that's like not my direct boss, but like the head of
your manager.
the head of my section of the company, like
Okay,
he
okay,
has a
okay.
very thick accent that even I have hard trouble like
Understanding.
discerning and understanding.
Yeah,
But like yours is like
yeah.
it's very easy to recognize, and like if you just say pronounce your L's more, and I know that's like typical Asian stereotyping. Oh, I can't pronounce L's, and
Laurel.
we fucking blame Japan for that because I feel like it's Japan's fault.
I feel like Korean accent is kind of different from other parts of Asia. I feel like
I would,
just me
I would
though.
I would agree with you, but I don't know if I've met like many
Oh,
Koreans,
okay, okay.
like Koreans that speak English like accented. Because I think like when I was at university, a lot of people, the couple people Korean people that I have talked to had like naturalized accents. So the
Oh
very
yeah, because
base
they're like
Midwestern
Asian
accent,
Americans or something.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
learning Japanese is just fucking awful. I'll just say that right now, because like there's so many wrong ways to learn languages, and I think I've hit a large amount of them before I'm settling on before now. And I don't even know if this is a good way of learning Japanese, but I mean, what
I
I'm
mean,
doing right now,
starting with vocab is always good.
yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm doing a program called Tori, um, for like Tori gates, and it just like quizzes you on Japanese words. So like it'll show the kanji for spring, for example, and then there's like a setting where you can turn on and off the kana version of it. So instead of like the character spring, it'll show like it'll show ha and then ru, but you can
Hmm.
like turn that on and off, and you'll have to enter in spring, you know.
Hmm.
And I'm doing like 5 to 20 words a day. Just depends on how much I get into it that on that particular day. And I'm just learning fuck tons of vocab, and I looked at it now and I'm at like 1% in. And I'm like, fuck.
Getting there.
We're
At
getting
least you're on
there.
the board. At least you're on the board now.
And it's like so hard to just like reprogram my brain to learn to like think of it visually in terms of kanji because it's just so different. Because like
Yeah.
I think it's a lot. It's learning kana is a lot easier. Memorizing it is still a problem, but that's just like that's going to be the same for any language. That's not where the root isn't the same as what you're speaking. So like if I was to speak like fucking Spanish. A lot of Spanish words are very similar to English words.
Yeah, for sure.
So not as big of a deal. Like computadora. Oh, that sounds like computer. Yeah, there are some of those words in Japanese, but they're a lot scarcer, and they also don't use the Latin alphabet, which is also fucking miserable. Not the Latin alphabet, just like moving away from it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why people say if you know Chinese, learning Japanese will be much easier. I suppose. Yeah.
Would you ever consider learning Japanese?
Would I ever consider learning Japanese? I mean, maybe. I mean, I've tried before. Well, not tried. My parents told me to, and I did for a while, and then I told them I want to watch TV instead, and that's where I am now. -1 language point.
Because I remember when we were eating dinner in Japan, and your mom just like talked to the waitress. I was like, "You know Japanese?" And she's like, "No, I just know a few phrases."
No, she knows a bit. Yeah. She studied in Japan for a while for language, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, like just learning a language, especially in my 20s, because it's like not something that I'm used to doing. Yeah, I learned Spanish for a couple years in high school, but like I think the biggest problem I have with it now is just commitments, because like when you're in school for it, you're very obligated to actually go out and learn the language or cheat on your tests, like half of my class did.
Okay. Respect.
To be for a little bit of context, in Michigan, back when the year after I graduated, so the class of 2016 to I think now, I don't know if it's still going on, especially with pandemic.
2016 to 2020.
Yeah, I don't know if like the most recent.
Yeah. That's my branch. That's my year. Yeah.
Yeah, but like for high school, so like the high school class of 2016,
the
high school class of 2020, they were required to take 2 years of a foreign language, right? I took Spanish. I wanted to take Japanese, but I didn't want to have to go to another school to learn it, so I just took Spanish because it was offered at my school, and also I was not a weeb back then, I swear. I just wanted to learn it because it's it's the only Asian language they offered, and yeah. But like obviously when someone's required to do something, they'll find the easiest fucking way to go about doing it if they're that kind of person.
Path of least resistance, man. We're off circuits.
Yeah, like if you have a difficult job, leave it to a lazy person because they'll find the easiest way of doing it. These guys took it a little bit too literally, and just because they were forced to take it and they just didn't give a rat's ass about A, school in general, but B, Spanish as a class, they would just like bullshit their way through class. I remember in my Spanish 2 class, this one kid just turns around in the middle of a test and says, "Hey, what does abuelo mean?"
What the?
Like, abuelo is something that you learn in like the second week of Spanish 1. But he just turns around and is like, "Hey, what does abuelo mean?" And
then the person moderating the test is just like, "Yeah, that's normal."
And I was like, "Yeah, well, he got a 0."
Oh well, I was surprised.
Like big whoop. Like you still obligate to learn it, but like it still went in one ear and out the other because you're not consistently like after I stopped taking Spanish 2, I just stopped like having a need to speak Spanish or like learn Spanish. So I just kind of forgot everything.
Yeah, I mean it was still in your short-term memory, and then because you didn't revisit it or you didn't have the need to apply that memory, it just gets deleted. It just gets recycled, and you'll forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas now, like I have zero obligation to learn Japanese because I'm not taking a class or anything. I'm just doing something.
But you're watching anime every day, so you're using that knowledge every day. So wow, reinforcement.
Out of curiosity, have you picked up like any Japanese like vocabulary from anime? Not like anime like phrases of like Ohio or anything like that, but like actual like terms and words.
I feel like I have. I feel like I have, and though I cannot write it out, I feel like if you just spoke a sentence to me, I could probably guess the gist of it. although a lot of it is context based, so if I know the context, I will be a lot more. I'll be a lot better positioned to guess what it's like. So, for example, I recently downloaded a bunch of ASMR packs, and I can guess like 80% of what's going on.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Anything like porn related, or generally
hey,
erotic.
it's ASMR pack.
Don't
don't diss my ASMR pack, bitch.
Okay, anything like generally erotic when it comes to like Japanese has like fucking 3 phrases.
Yep.
It's like what?
But you've also got some flavor text,
There's like the one for stop, which is like yamareo or something like that.
Yeah.
There's
and then there's one for like
kimochi. That's it.
Yeah, there's like thanks for the hard work. Do you want some reward now or? Anyways, guys, let's talk about VTubers, okay?
I know some
actually,
people are. I know some people are like actually learning Japanese off of VTubers, and like I have picked up on like some words whenever they do say it, but like I'm not good enough to figure out context if I'm just watching the stream. No.
Jagaimo. You know what that is?
Jagaimo.
Maybe it's Jagaimo.
No.
It's potato, man. Potato.
I completely forgot that a potato has a different has like an actual word behind it because like I'm pretty sure potato chip, because I wanted to see like what my username would be in Japanese, because like just something
of course.
something funny to look up, and like potato chip in Japanese is like potato chipu. I'm like, makes sense, carry on, but then potato on its own is just something else.
I mean, would you prefer it to be called Jagaimo chip? Like,
no, but if I say potato chipu, I sound like a fucking racist.
Dude, oh my god. I've actually been to this restaurant in California. It's like near the airport. I don't know if you saw it. I posted it on my Twitter like a long time ago. It's like 3 years ago. Like, the restaurant sells burgers and stuff, but like all the stuff they sell are named in like the most racist, like stereotypical Japanese pronunciation way possible. So like hamburger will be pronounced, or not pronounced, but spelled hambaga or something like that. Like they would actually use A instead of like R.
Dude.
Like it'll be like HAMBURGA or something like that. It's some ridiculous stuff like that. I can probably like find the picture and post it on like the YouTube version later on. But it's like the most racist stuff. But it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because they have like a lot of anime stuff there too. They have like like Ryu from Street Fighter, and they have some other anime characters on like their what's that thing called when you like the waiting card, right? So like you grab onto the card and then you exchange it for the food when your food is ready. I don't know what that's called.
A ticket?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, your ticket. Yeah. So I mean, I guess they embrace it, but like at the same time, it's kind of cringe, guys. Don't do that.
I remember going to it was a supermarket back when I was in, I think, a freshman in high school, and it was an Asian supermarket, and they just had something called rapeseed, and I'm like, cool. I know that's an actual thing, but I just kind of the audacity for them to just label it as rapeseed instead of like canola seed, because that's actually the plant that makes canola oil.
Respect.
Don't be racist, guys. That's all I have to say.
I mean, okay. Don't be racist.
Like, for me, I'm okay with being with making jokes about my own race, but I will never make jokes about other people's race. It kind of reminds me of the Michael Reeves video where he I think it's called it's something Me Elmo. It's Trigger Me Elmo, where he programmed an Elmo doll to recognize the viewer, the person holding its race, and it just says something racist.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Michael Reeves videos are so funny. I strongly encourage you to not you as the viewer, but you, Sean, to watch them.
Okay. I'll check it out after time.
Do we have anything more on the topic of VTubers?
I mean, I guess we could just talk about our favorite VTubers, right?
Yeah,
I feel like we littered some random information about specific VTubers like once in a while, but the focus of the talk hasn't really been about VTubers.
yeah. Just it's just VTubing in general, but not VTubers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I have proclaimed that my favorite is Suisei. First of all, because I really like her like character design.
Yes.
Especially like post like once they improved the live 2D model of it.
Of course, yeah.
But I just really like that like animated design. I think it's really cute, and despite her psychopathic tendencies, she's got a really endearing.
That's the best part.
It also helps that she sang one song I really like from Yorushika that I haven't seen anybody else cover.
Which one is that?
That one's Haru Hisagi, which is, I believe, called Prostitution in English. Which makes no sense because Haru, like for Haru and then Hisagi. Hisagi is all in kana, but Haru they use the kanji for spring, because they also mean like stick and some other shit probably. But they specifically use spring, and I'm like, how does spring go with prostitution whatsoever? Whatever.
If I had more context, maybe I could explain, but right now I don't. So
yeah, I don't. Yeah, it just makes no sense. I also don't know what Hisagi means, but besides the point.
Okay.
She did cover that, but like I think she is just really endearing, and it's also really fun watching her play Tetris. She's like really good at Tetris. She's like the second best at Hololive at it, behind Yagu.
Well, who's the best actually? What the?
Yagu.
She's the second best. Who? True.
Have you never seen Yagu? Yagu's the president, CEO of Hololive.
They just call him the CEO.
Yeah. Like I've seen multiple clips of Yagu just finding his way into Suisei's games and then just bullying her.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah.
Who's your personal favorite? Just like if you had to pick one, would it be Korone?
No. It'd probably be Ayame. Nakiri Ayame. Her voice is just too good.
That's the only one, right?
Yeah. It's Ojo-sama. I mean, Nakiri, or Ayame, Korone, Kanata are my three favorites from Hololive. Suisei is actually my number 4. I'm looking at my tier list right now. Suisei is my number 4. Matsuri is my 5. Tokino Sora is my 6th. And I have Marin, Fubuki, Aqua, Akai Hato, Hachama, and then Pecora, Okayu, and Koko. And then the rest is like about the same because I don't watch them as much.
Yeah, I don't really like Pekora too much. I like watching her like scream at shit because, like I said, she's a brat. But like besides that, I really don't like the carrots in her hair because her design is just like a bunny girl who's with like 2 braids, but it has just carrots sticking out of it, and I just like it just bothers me for some reason.
Bruh, she's a meme, man. Like she's just a meme. She's a meme, and then you're there to see her stream fails.
Like, I'm pretty sure like people who watch Pekora are the same people who watch Reynad get shit on by RNG in Hearthstone in like 2017, or watch Tyler 1 get stream sniped or something like that.
You know, Pecora's actually Sugita's favorite VTubers, or one of his favorite VTubers. Like Sugita, the guy who voices Gintama and a bunch of other anime characters, but Gintama's the only one. He voiced Gintama and Joseph Joestar from JoJo. Those 2 are the ones I remember.
Oh, you mean Gintoki? I think that's his like actual name, right?
Oh yeah, the main guy in Gintama. Yeah. I'm not that familiar with the franchise, but yeah, he also started his own VTuber channel. I think I linked you that before.
Probably. I don't have it because I probably didn't. I don't.
Yeah.
Did I care at the time, or did I just not open?
Maybe you didn't. It was pretty early on. It was like before I left the States.
Yeah, if it's before you left the States, I didn't give a shit.
You whore, you've been busted. But yeah, he's pretty funny. Or not, he's pretty funny. He likes Picora, but him as a personality is also very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other
Did you
ones.
do?
What was it?
Yeah. I was gonna ask, is Noor the only one you watch in Niji Sanji?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um, partially because I can actually understand her on half her streams, which is more than
Yeah.
Anybody else combined.
Yeah.
I mean, I also really like her personality because she's kind of like um, she's kind of a cheerful girl but she's like very sweet. I don't know how else to like describe her because I think describing people is actually just so fucking difficult because there's like a very limited selection of how you can describe of words that people generally use to describe personalities. So I just don't know how to fucking like distinguish her from other people who are quote unquote sweet and caring and kind.
Yeah, leave it to a writer, man. They can write you like page on page of character descriptions.
And they don't even have a personality page on the VTuber wiki, so I can't even copy off that.
Wait, you actually look at those? I never look at those. Man.
Occasionally, just for
like
shits and giggles.
Those are usually too outdated because they just change after like first month of streaming.
Yeah, Noor's the only one because I can. I mean, I really liked her design, honestly. I think like the tattoos are not something you usually see because tattoos are kind of taboo in Japanese culture due to association with the yakuza.
Mafia, yeah.
Um,
Yakuza.
but it's a very like different and nice change, and I think just the whole general design is really cool.
Yeah.
Who else am I subscribed to? Not on OnlyFans, on YouTube. I'm subscribed to Kurane. She's probably one of the ones that I watch more of in terms of like live streams. I watch.
It's just gaming. You don't need to know what she's saying for the most part.
Yeah. Fubuki, I only watch her like her clips and bits. I don't actually watch her live streams all that much.
Scatman.
I'm a Scatman. Okay, I honestly, Fubuki got famous off of the Scatman song, right?
I don't know if she got famous because of it, but
it helped. It certainly helped. Right?
Yeah.
It's like that's from Scatman John back in like the 80s or 90s, and I honestly have no fucking clue why it was. I have no fucking clue why it became a popular song. I'm just so confused.
Why is it viral?
Yeah.
It's just a random viral video.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, what the fuck?
Maybe it was just there at the right time or something. Like, maybe that's just why it catches on. Or, like, I have no idea, honestly. Like,
I don't know. And, like, I've definitely listened to it more than one time, but I still don't get it. It is beyond my comprehension. I watch Coco sometimes, but I don't. It's okay. And I watch Marine.
Yeah.
Marine, whatever. Just because when you first sent me my first introduction, and I think I will honestly say that this is what started my downward spiral into VTuber hell. Is the clips that you sent me of Hosho Marine reviewing Azure Lane ships, where she would just like zoom in on the Azure Lane ship's boobs, and she's like, "Oh, ecchi, sugoi, oh, I love maids."
Oh my god!
And I'm like,
okay,
why am I entertained by this? What the fuck? And then I watched it again, and now we're here talking about VTubers.
Also, for some context, that was not the first time I sent him clips. Like, that was just the first time he saw it. That was just the first time he actually clicked on it and opened it.
No, this is like the 40th time he sent me clips. It's just the first time I actually decided to click on it and watch it. I'm like, huh, boobs. Okay, she's zooming in on them. I've seen these actually characters. This is kind of entertaining.
I guess eventually.
What the fuck? It's been 20 minutes.
For the siege, I guess. I finally got him interested, and now he's here.
Fucking hate you, man. We
Yeah,
should
Billy and
negotiate
Joseph.
it.
Yeah.
It's Billy that's like also into it, right?
I mean, you saw how
Should have
quickly they left
negotiated
the
one of
chat.
you
Like
joining us.
when I added them, like you really think they're gonna, you really think they're gonna show up on the podcast? Like the moment I added them, they just left the group. They just left the group. What is this?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Joseph
You're right.
stayed, but that's also because he's like more polite. But you
Yeah,
left.
you're right.
You left right away. What are you talking about? It's not like
I'm just gonna be straight up. I don't like
one-on-one.
I don't like random group chats or shit like that. I just prefer to like, you know, yeah, like if it's something, if it's like a group thing like that, just have a Discord server for it, for fuck's sake. I think the one exception I had was for my D&D.
Yeah, I don't like Discord
but
because
like
it
I
sometimes
just
doesn't
don't like
notify
Facebook
me when I get
Messenger groups for
messages. I
whatever
don't know
reason.
why. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. Like I would get messages. I would get notifications, and then it will say I just received the notification now. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I received the notification just now. That works. But I go into the app and I check, and it came from like 5-6 hours ago. I'm like, what the hell is this? Why are you notifying me now after 5 hours? What is this? So yeah, I don't like Discord.
It's nothing against you or VTubers at the time. It's just Facebook Messengers just fucking annoy me. I think it's partially because I keep on getting added to a bunch of like random ones from some people, and I don't understand it, and it just annoys me because it'll be a group chat with like 62 other people.
That's a lot.
And I just leave immediately because why the fuck would I want to stay? If it had like a common name and I was added to a group chat of just people with the same name as me, I think that'd be like, huh, that's funny, I might stay. But like, if it's for a random reason, then
at
no.
Austin and
oh. No, I mean like first and last name, because like there's not too many people with the same first and last name as me. I don't think so.
All 60 Austins raises their hand. So what? So how many is that? That's Mari, Coco, Suisei, Fubuki, Korone, and Yor. Okay, that's 6. Yeah. You did say you only watched 5 from Hololive and 1 from outside. Yeah.
One second. There are 21 people in the U.S. named Austin Lay.
Damn.
How many of are there of you? And your Americanized name, not your.
Probably a ton.
Your actual
You'll find out.
55, more than me.
55 only? What the hell? Okay. Maybe
yeah.
More in Taiwan, right?
Huh. Yeah, maybe. But I've kind of been watching more Uzora Subaru lately. Actually.
Oh really?
I mean, first of all, I have a thing for tomboys.
True. But... Wait, then what about Anjay? What? Katrina? No.
I have watched like I like she's definitely like second on my Niji Sanji list, but like I try to limit myself because
there's too many.
I'm more dedicated to there's too many, and I'm more dedicated to the anime I watch.
Yeah. Well, sorry, man. Polygamy is a win for me. So. Everyone.
But I don't know. I was like, Subaru was one of those things like, wow, this is kind of an annoying voice, and then the more I listen to it, I'm like, huh, kind of like this.
Yeah, her overseas view rate went from like 2% to like 22% of her total view count, like in the last month or so, maybe 2 months, because it's been a while since the clip.
Why?
Because she's mentioned something about her being the least popular overseas VTuber. So like people out of all the Hololive members, she is seen by the least number of people overseas. And then immediately like that got clipped, and then her view count just skyrocketed. So yeah.
I remember seeing a clip where she tried to promote herself to her family and friends, and then they started watching other Hololive streamers that weren't her.
No. Okay, that's a rip. That's a rip.
But it also just makes you wonder, like, do you think they know, and they're just not telling her?
Yeah,
that also could
like it happens sometimes, right? Like I know what happened with Anjay and Lise from Niji Sanji. Like their other family members know, or like they figure it out for some reason, right? Maybe like the schedule just worked out, and then they realized that they're streaming, or maybe they recognize the voice or something. But yeah, they know. Some family.
I remember watching. Oh yeah, I remember watching Suisei's like outing story to her family.
Oh yeah.
Where she had like.
Yeah.
What was it? I think she had like her cousin
it was her cousin.
over, who was like.
And
a few years younger than her, like 14 or so, and she had her Twitter open on her phone, but it wasn't her personal Twitter. It was her suicide Twitter.
Take the bait.
And her cousin was like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "Did you see?" or something like that, And then her, like the next time he visited, he had he had Suisi like on his
Yeah,
phone,
he had her
like
VOD or
she was
something on
watching
her
her
phone.
stream.
Yeah.
It's like max volume, and he's like, "Haha, Sui-chan is so funny." And her mom walks over, and is like, "Who's this?" "Oh, Sui-chan, it's a VTuber." Just looks over at Sui.
Subtle.
And then apparently, like, eventually it got to the point where her dad started playing like her clips on on like TV, like Chromecasting it or whatever. So her cousin was dead ass just outing her to her parents.
Definitely, dude. Like, there's no way you're so brain damaged that you would do that, like, unintentionally, dude.
I don't like if I ever became a VTuber, I would never fucking tell my parents.
Right? I wouldn't mind.
No, fuck no.
I mean, it depends on what I'm streaming. Right?
I've already disappointed them enough in life.
Okay, I mean, you can always just pull the "I got a new FM" card, right?
Yeah, there goes what's 20,000 times 4? Fuck. Down the drain.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
All right. You have any more VTubers that you want to talk about, or should we move on to recommendations?
I mean,
or do you want to just talk about your VTubers as your recommendations?
No, I think I'll recommend something else for today. But I was gonna say I wanted to recommend some Niji Sanji stuff, but then I don't know. You don't know that much about Niji Sanji, so I don't feel like it'll be that good of a conversation. And also,
Yeah.
most people, I mean, I don't know. Which one do you think is easier to get into, Hololive or Niji Sanji as like a first? I mean, I guess you got into Hololive first because of that clip, but I feel like as an entry point, I feel like Niji Sanji might be easier for people to get into VTubers because it's such a big
content. I think content-wise, Niji Sanji is probably easier to get into, but Hololive is better just like visually.
Visually, really? I feel like there are a lot of anime, or not anime, 2D models that look very good in Niji Sanji. So, for example, like I feel like 5th gen, for this coming batch for Hololive looks worse than many of the Niji Sanji avatars that I watch. So, but I do know what you mean though. Like a lot of the avatars do have a lower polish than Hololive avatars. Probably for obvious reasons that there's too many people to manage and they cannot just constantly do like updates on the avatars. But maybe there's also other reasons. But I know what you mean. It just like the Niji Sanji avatars just look a little more washed than others. Yeah.
I'd say just like find a personality that you enjoy, because like I can't recommend a League streamer for you because I don't know what kind of content you enjoy. So like,
what do you mean? If you want to recommend a League streamer, it's easy. Just go on twitch.tv/Jonathan Simple. It's easy.
All right, fine. If you want to watch a Hearthstone stream, I don't know who the fuck to recommend to you. Just find a personality you like.
Yeah, just find a League streamer instead. Twitch.tv/Jonathan.
Basically, just go window shopping for personalities.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's time to move on to recommendations. We've been on this topic. We're at like what, an hour 40 minutes into this recording.
Yeah, and we talked about VTubers for
it's definitely not going to be an hour 40 into you guys.
Yeah.
Whoops. You got anything?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna recommend a movie that we previously talked about, or I previously talked about. Perfect Blue. It's a movie. Well, of course, it's like a mystery and a psychological movie. First and foremost, it's by Satoshi Kon, so you can already know that it's gonna tackle more mature themes and have a more serious story beat. However, the reason why I'm recommending this is because Perfect Blue, while it's centered around how should I put it? While it is centered around a
psychological thriller.
Yeah, a thriller. Yep.
it's very focused on like the idol concepts that we of privacy that we talked
Yes,
about
yes,
in towards the beginning of the
yes.
episode.
It deals very much heavily with your personal, or from what we've been talking about, your personality versus your character setting or your public profile, for example, right? So who you are maybe is going to be different from how you present yourself publicly for the most part, and a lot of times that can be difficult to deal with. So, for example, putting on a mask in a public setting can be hard. Um, a lot of times, detaching yourself from that personality once you're off work or once you don't have to put up the act anymore can also be difficult. And this film basically deals with people who are, or a person who is unable to detach their public persona from their personal life, and the mental stress that it brings her. So it's good. It's good. It's a good
It's kind
watch.
of weird. Like I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it personally, but I know about like the general
Mm-hmm.
concept of the story. It's kind of creepy how much more relevant it is now than when it was released in
Yeah,
1999 or something
definitely.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely something that I'm going to watch. Something that I've got like saved to watch later whenever I get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, sure,
Yeah.
watch it with me, I guess.
You can do a live viewing like on stage, just like all the VTubers. Like the VTubers sometimes do live viewing events where they will have the timestamp of the film, and then they will just watch it, and then they will live react to it, and then people will just react with them in chat. So that's something they do to avoid copyright, of course, right? So you just watch it on your own platform and then match the timestamps. Um, but yeah, like the movies also like the main character of Perfect Blue being an idol is also just a happy coincidence because Hollow Life members do act like idols, or they try to.
Most of
They
the
try
time.
to, yeah, yeah, and
Some of the time.
yeah, yeah, and it just goes to show how dangerous having their personal information leaked can be, for them and for just idols in general, or for people in general, really, for people in general. And yeah, it basically shows you a lot of to dos and not to dos, and when you're involving in yourself as an idol or as a fan of the idol, right? Like you don't want to be the creepers who are just causing like trouble in the movie. Um, I won't spoil anymore, but yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good watch. It's very well directed too. Definitely check it out. Yeah.
My first recommendation is I think it's a pop duo. I'm just gonna actually Wikipedia it real quickly so I can actually properly talk about it. It's called Yosobi, all caps for no reason. It's a music duo composed of a Vocaloid music producer and a vocalist, and they had a very popular song last year called Yoru ni Kakeru, or Racing Through the Night, and it's based off of a short story called Thanatos no Yuwaku, which I don't know what's about because I can't read Japanese, but it's a very interesting theme that all of their songs are based off of like short story works, whether it be sad or probably mostly sad. Let's be real. Um, they got a few like new songs that came out in the last few months. Halcyon is one that I think is pretty good, and one that came out in the last month called Tabun. But I've seen Sean keeps sending me as soon as I recommended it to, them to Sean. Sean immediately started sending me a bunch of uh, VTuber covers of Racing Through the Night, and he hasn't stopped.
Okay, okay. I'm going to defend myself here. I know of the song before he recommended the band to me. I only send it to him now because I know he knows of the band, and I'm just trying to show that how many people are freaking covering that song right now. Because all the covers that I'm sending him now are new covers that are just coming out. So like, what is this? I've seen like 6 or 7 different covers of the song already. It's really insane, and they're mostly by VTubers too.
I mean, it's a good song. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Of course. But it's so saturated at this point.
Yeah. And the second, it's a manga because I mean, where would I be if I didn't cover a manga? Is I believe it's called I Fell in Love, so I tried live streaming, which is like the most
Oh wait, I just read that actually. I read that
Yeah,
like last week.
it's kind of weird because it's kind of like Bunny Girl Senpai, where like Bunny Girl Senpai is in the title, but it's kind of not focused on bunny girls at all. Because like yes, live streaming is an aspect of the manga, but it's not. But it's more like drama, like living drama based.
Yep.
It's about a guy who used to live stream but doesn't anymore, and honestly, they haven't touched him on that point in like 30 chapters. But he moves into a house which is like a dorm for school, which is
Yeah, it's a dorm.
I think three guys total and three girls total, and everybody live streams in the house but him, and everybody is trying to take precautions to not get their live stream personality out to the other members of the house.
Yeah, so
Yes,
get
they don't
doxxed.
get doxxed, but also so that they don't start like a hate war. It's basically bad offline TV, or offline TV gone bad.
Imagine offline TV, but nobody
Yeah,
knows that they're streaming.
and nobody wants the other people. Yeah, it's not very interesting if you're like trying to focus on a live streaming manga, but like, if you're just around for pointless drama, sort of romance, and somewhat interesting plot, then it's an interesting read. It's kind of one of those ones that you don't read because it's like super good. You just read because like, oh hey, it's here. You got anything else?
Yeah, no. I think I'm good for the most part.
All right, so that'll be it for this episode. Until next year. next next
Yep.
year, if you're
Until
if
next
you're on
year, if
YouTube,
you're on the YouTube version,
or next 2 months if you're on
yep,
top of things
yep.
like I am. Stay safe.
Make sure you check out some male
Yeah.
Vtubers.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and most of all, stay degenerate. Bye bye.